Okay, like I said, carotenoid and flavonoid are necessary for your health and well-being because these two are potent source of antioxidants. All fruit and veggies have some element of carotenoid and flavonoid in them. This, like flavonoid, carotenoid are responsible for your yellow, orange, and red colors. They are responsible for bright colors. Even in vegetables, we still have carotenoid, but because of the high content of chlorophyll in green vegetables, this color, the green color of chlorophyll marks carotenoid. So you cannot see that bright yellow, orange, or red colors. It does not mean they are not there. So that is why every day of your life, you must make sure you have some element of fruit and veggies in your meal because these help to fight oxidation that occur naturally in your system. Okay, in common fruit and vegetables, you can see this are tomatoes. Tomatoes are potent source of lycopene. Carrot, as you know, is what gave us either alpha or beta carotenoid. Alpha or beta carotenes are seen in carrots. Your red pepper are potent source of capsaicin. Pumpkins and the sweet potato have beta carotene. That's why at times sweet potato is not graded as a tuber, it's being classified as vegetable. So whenever you want to eat, make sure you optimize this. That's why they say sweet potato is very beneficial for your health. So optimize it, okay? And as we continue, we're going to also understand how to make these antioxidants very available for the system to absorb. Now, these are the families of carotenoid. Like we said in the previous slide, we have carotene, which can be alpha or beta carotene. Both isomers of carotene are seen in carrots. We have beta cryptoxanthin, we have lutein, we have lycopene, tomato, and zeaxanthin. Lutein and zeaxanthin are very beneficial for your eye health. They help you to have a better clarity of vision. Okay? And these are also obtained from green veggies. So please make sure you optimize your veggies, your green, your broccoli, your kale. They are very, very useful. They are potencies of this carotenoid. These carotenoids are classified into two. We have carotene hydrocarbons and we have oxygenated. So we have, remember, like we said in terpenoid, the ones that does not have oxygen, we call them terpenes. The one that have oxygen, we call it terpenoid. In the same vein, whenever we are talking about carotene, we have carotenes. The carotenes are the ones that does not have any oxygen, while xanthophiles are the ones that have oxygen. Okay, like I said, so we have hydrocarbons and we have oxygenated. So the hydrocarbon class of carotenoid are called carotenes. Then we have our alpha carotene, our beta and lycopenes. These are made up of unsaturated double bonds, there is no presence of oxygen. While the xanthophylls are the ones that have oxygens. So we have the lutein, the zeaxanthin, and beta-cryptoxanthin. These are oxygenated. So we have only 2 classes of carotenoid. Remember, flavonoid have different classes, about 5 or 7. But carotenoid just have carotene and xanthophyll. So if a question asks, you should name the 2 classes of carotenoid with one example in each with structures. You should understand what you're expected to do here. They're talking about the carotene. So any of the carotene that you know that you familiarize yourself with the structure, just know. Any of the xanthophyll you know you can deal with, just know. When we go to the structures, we can look at how to differentiate between all these carotenoids. They have so many things in common. It's only one that is very different, which is the lycopene. We are going to see when we continue. Why do we need carotenoid? Why is it very important? Carotenoid, like I said, they are potent antioxidants. They are pro-vitamin A activity, which means when you take something like carotene or beta-cryptoxanthin, they will be converted to vitamin A in your system. And remember, vitamin A is very good for our eyes. They are antioxidants. So all carotenoid are antioxidants, meaning they can fight oxidation in your system. Oxidation is what causes cell damage. And when cell is damaged, that's when you're sick. Okay? Some cell damage can be revived. That's why at times when you're sick, they say that sometimes you're not feeling well, only taking fruit and vegetable, you'll be fine. If you do fasting with water and fruits, what those things do is to revive, okay, your damaged cells by scavenging the radicals that causes the cell damage. So, and by doing that, your cells are revived. You are as healthy as your cells. So whatever that happened to your cells affects your organs and the system. So before we have kidney failure, it started from kidney damage that was not revived. The cells of the kidney was affected gradually, that affect the kidney, and then it becomes failure. That's why whenever there is kidney failure, the kidney can be beyond remedy because it has passed the level of being revived. So the most important thing is for you to make sure your meal is full of veggies. Optimize this vegetable in your meal in terms of fruits or in terms of vegetable that you eat with your main meal. They are for cell communication. Like I said, they help to revive the cells. So the essence of antioxidants is to make sure that anything that is not good in your cellular level, they take it off. That's the essence of fiber. Fiber help to flush out some of those things in your system. Okay? So whenever you're doing that's why whenever you're doing detox, at times you realize that detox make you to purge. That purge cleanses your system and remove things that are not supposed to be there in your cells. They can also help to boost our immunity, like beta-carotene. When your cells are healthy, your immune system are revived. They can also be applied topically as sunscreen agents. They protect from UV radiation. One of the things that causes acne and premature aging is effect of UV light, especially when you have damaged your melanin by using bleaching cream. Your skin is exposed to UV more than the person that is not using bleaching cream. So that's why I see some people having sunburn and suntan. The reason is that their melanin has been flopped up by cream. So their skin is very sensitive to everything, especially heat. And these kind of people are people that cannot undergo surgery. They always have problem with surgery because the melanin that's supposed to hold their skin firm has been damaged. So be careful if you want to change your color, God has made it to be dark, and you want to be fair. You end up killing your cells, killing your skin. When you start having sun damage, you start looking for cream again to remedy it. And remember, when some things are damaged, they cannot be revived again. That's why I see some people, when they start aging, you realize their skin has squeezed because there's no melanin again that can firm it. So please be proud with your skin color. Another function of this carotenoid is for macular protection. These are the benefits of lutein and zeaxanthin. Macular protection is something that protects the retina of your eyes, which helps your eyes to be sharp and vision to be clear. So how do we optimize this lutein? It's always seen in green veggies. Green veggies like kale, consider like broccoli or every green vegetable. There are some that contain high percentage of it and some that contain low. But the most important thing is that you can never get it wrong when you're eating your veggies. So you should be able to mention at least 2 functions of carotenoid, at least. So minimum of 2. And the carotenoid responsible for the functions. Just don't tell me that talking about you protects the skin from UV rays. You will not tell me the carotenoid that are responsible for this UV protection. So make sure you know every carotenoid and the function they perform in human body. Why do we need carotenoid? The carotenoid, we need it because our body is generally passing through a lot of stress. When you're supposed to sleep, you're not sleeping. Your body is passing through stress. When you're eating food you're not supposed to eat, you're giving your system stress. When you're eating food that is not compatible with your blood type, you're giving your system stress. When you're doing some physical activity, like running or exercise that is too extreme, it is another stress. So even the normal thing that your body undergo to be alive, normal digestion, normal respiratory is stress. So the body naturally metabolism, the normal metabolism that the body undergo for you to survive, to be alive, is stress. So that's why you're told to drink water and you're told to eat fruits and veggies. They are going to release antioxidants. Yes, stress is too much. They are going to release antioxidants that help calm this stress. When these stress are neglected, that's what causes chronic diseases like cancer and heart diseases. So whenever somebody have cancer, it's not something that happened in a day. It's accumulation. In the season of Argentine, where you guys like fast food, you want to show, you're always eating chicken and chips. All the roasted, everything you see that is roasted on fire, on flame, is toxins. So whenever you're eating your roasted turkey, roasted chicken, your suya, remember you're taking in toxins. And what's in when you're taking them with your yogurt and ice cream, or with lacasera, or with Fanta. You're killing your system the more. These are the stress that when accumulated, you see somebody saying, the person is having diabetes, is having heart attack, heart problem, high blood pressure, cancer, and all those rubbish diseases. They are because of load of oxidation that occurs in our system. That's why it's advisable either you make your breakfast to be fruits or your dinner fruits. Let your food a day not be void of fruits and veggies. It will help you to combat with stress that occurs naturally or the one that is self-induced. I hope, remember, as I say, the essence of this natural product is not just because you want to pass a class. It's because you want to improve your own standard of living and the standard of living of people around you, because knowledge is power. Physical properties of this carotenoid. It's worthy of note for you to know that carotenoids are lipophilic compounds, meaning these are better absorbed in oil form or organic solvents. In oil form or organic solvents. That is why something like carrots, and tomato, they are better in oil. So you get lycopene better when you prepare your tomato in stew than taking it raw, because lycopene is better absorbed in lipid form, that is in oil. You can understand that when you're taking something like vitamin D, vitamin A, or vitamin E, they will tell you that you should make sure that it's oil, that is being absorbable more when you take oil containing food or lipid. Okay, so that's why if you want to take drugs like that, something like egg can help you for the absorption. So taking them, and you want to take something like ogi that does not have anything like lipid, or eating food that does not have oil, it might affect its bioavailability. So whenever you're eating things that has carotenoid, make sure that it's oil. But you're not told to go and fry it and they become source of oxidation again in your system. Okay, there's supposed to be oil, but you're not meant to fry the oil. I always advise people that whenever you're cooking and all you do jar, that noise, meaning that the oil is too hot. Now, if it's oil that is unsaturated, like healthy oil, like olive oil or sunflower oil, by virtue of that heat, as a chemist, you know that heat causes about oxidation, meaning that the bonds are broken. So your normal healthy oil becomes toxin. So whenever you want to fry your tomato, it's not compulsory. You must allow the oil to be hot. At times, you can even cook your tomato. When your tomato boils, then pour the oil. You must not fry it. Okay? So that you can obtain the health benefits of this lycopene and the oil you're using. Okay? So another thing is that we should know that these carotenoids are isomerized by heat, by acid and light. When you mean isomerize, isomerization does not mean destroyed. Okay? Mean that some of them can either have activity increased or reduced. But normally, the bioavailability of some like tomato is improved by heating. Now, if you look at something like turmeric, you realize that for you to obtain the best of turmeric, it should be in oil. So these are some of the things we should understand. And whenever you're heating, don't overheat. Because when something is being isomerized, it means that it can move from cis to trans. The form can be changed, but it does not change the efficiency in most cases and bioavailability. Many of the carotenoids exhibit spectral shifts, okay, in the presence of some reagents. So these are what we use to identify them in the lab by their spectral shift. So the reagent you're going to use will determine the shift you're expecting. And if it does not correlate with the shift, you know that this is not what you're expecting. Okay? So that's the properties. The number one property you have to understand is that they are oil soluble, meaning they're lipophilic. Secondly, so whenever you're taking your something like carrots, you want to take your carrot as juice, you get carotenoid, but you're not going to get the best of that carotenoid. So we can also do to the level of infusing your carrot in oil and using carrot oil to cook. Some people, when they want to cook their tomato, they blend their tomato with carrots and cook. It is a very efficient way of optimizing the carotenoid in the carrots, as well as optimizing lycopene. Now let's continue. The chemical properties. Now, when you look at the structure of carotenoid, as we're going to see in upcoming slide, you realize that they're made up of double bonds that are conjugated. So that is why they can be susceptible to some reaction with electrophilic reagents. Besides, these carotenoids can undergo self-auto oxidation in the presence of oxygen. And that is why when you see a tomato, it's not every tomato that is good. When you see tomato that is spoiled, that tomato is not healthy like the one that is fresh. So that's why I always discourage people, be careful the way you eat mama puts. Because when they go to market, they go to and buy those tomatoes that has been auto-oxidized. You see the tomato that are rejected, they will use it, pour water on it, blend it, and cook it for you. You might be getting some lycopene, but the problem is that what you're getting is not what you're supposed to get. Then, and some of them, the method and whatever they add to it will make that food, instead of being healthy, become poisonous. Little wonder that some food you eat, you start purging, meaning that there's toxins inside the food. Okay? So, my carotenoid can undergo reaction that are electrophilic. Remember, by virtue of conjugation, it can talk about hydrogenation. So every reaction that double bond can undergo, it can undergo that, like oxidation and such likes. How can I make this carotenoid available in my system? That's what I'll talk about, bioavailability. This bioavailability of carotenoids can be influenced by many factors. Number one is dietary lipid. Like I said, if there is no lipid, the carotenoids cannot be absorbed. The bioavailability will be reduced. If you're meant to get 80, you might end up getting 10 or 15. Fiber, the presence of vitamins, minerals. Carotenoids are, like I said, highly hydrophobic. Highly hydrophobic. Hydrophobic, it means that they don't like water. They fear water. So water is not the best way of obtaining it, meaning they are better obtained from oil. So from this class, I've learned something that I will go and buy carrots, infuse carrot in my oil and turn it into my cooking oil. And I know somebody here can also learn that. So I can cook with my carrot oil, the one I made, not the one I buy. And in that case, I can either infuse my carrot with sunflower oil, I can infuse it with olive oil or canola oil. Any oil I know I can use for cooking, I can get carrots, infuse my carrot with that, and use it to cook. I can also add carrot to my tomato whenever I want to blend my tomato. So I can optimize the beta carotene for my health and well-being. So what is really this antioxidant? Remember when we are talking about flavonoid, we explained that antioxidants are compounds that used to scavenge free radicals, okay, or limit the effect of free radicals in our body. These antioxidants, they protect our cells from effect of free radicals. Free radicals, like I said initially, are damaging compounds produced by byproduct of metabolism. Apart from metabolism, we can also obtain free radicals by exposure to toxins and pollutants. At times, there are some people, even when you undergo X-ray, X-ray releases free radicals in your system. And that is why people that have cancer, when they start going for that chemotherapy, you realize their health start falling up. Even the immune system becoming lower because that exposure releases oxidation in their system. Some of them may not survive it, especially those with weak immune system before being a victim of cancer. Okay, when you go for X-rays and anything that can expose you to machines, they are introducing oxidants in your system, and they can affect your health. So that's why whenever you're going for something like X-ray, it's not something you go often because of the rays you're being exposed to. Pollutants, like people that are working in paint industry that inhale pollutants, chemicals. Even people that work in lab as a chemist. That's why you're always told not to eat in the lab, because those things, when you inhale them, they become oxidants in your system, induces oxidative reaction, which can affect your health at later on. When you inhale things like smoke is a pollutant. So when you're a place where they're doing your roasted chicken and whatever, those smoke is pollutant that can affect your health. People that smoke cigarettes or whatever you smoke, those things you inhale are pollutant. That's why they damage kidney, they damage liver, they damage the heart because they are toxins. So what antioxidants do is to the inside of the cell being damaged, it helps to revive the damage from effect of these pollutants and toxins that we are exposed to. Now, like I said, normal metabolism of the body, like your digestion, especially when you're digesting food, like you're eating meat at night, is a whole lot of stress. Eating meat at night is stress. So when you're eating meat at night or late at night, suya is mainly taken at night. When you're taking them, your system is going to pass through pressure. Your system are going to pass through pressure to digest them. So that pressure is releasing oxidation reaction in your system. And that's why you're told to masticate your food well before you swallow. So that your system will not have so much work to do. I hope that's very important. That is well understood. So natural metabolism releases oxidation in your system. So antioxidant is very important. Water is a very good way of relieving your system from stress. Now, just like you, instead of taking water, you're taking all the colas, all the soft drinks, all the carbonated. When you're taking them, especially if you're an ulcer patient, because if you're blood type O, you're prone to ulcer. So when you're taking things and you're not drinking water, you're increasing the acidity content in your system, making the acid to be concentrated. Imagine you having HCl that is very concentrated and you're adding CO2 from your carbonated drink. What are we going to have as a chemist? So that's the reaction that occurs in your system. And you see your system, you're belching, you're having pain, you're having excess gas. This is because of the reaction occurring in your system. And you end up having an ulcer. Ulcer is that this acid is so concentrated, they will start releasing fumes and start bringing burning sensation and giving you wound in your system. That is what is called ulcer. So the essence is that whatever you're doing, water and fruits and veggies are your best bets. But remember, the manner you take them also matters. So free radicals are what causes damage. And these free radicals are generated by our lifestyle, by stress, and by wrong meal. Now, these are carotenoids as antioxidants. If you look at these carotenoids as antioxidants, there's something you have to notice. These carotenoids, all of them have conjugated double bonds. Now, whenever you want to see any oil that is unsaturated, that is free flowing, it means that that oil has multiple double bond. We call it polyene. Polyene is that it's not diene. When it's more than two double bond, we call it poly. So polyene. So carotenoids are polyene and they are provitamin A. So when you take this carotenoid, they're going to enter and form a vitamin A. So they're going to form a retinol. From retinol, we can get retinal, and from retinal, you're going to get retinoic acid. So you should be able to tell us the reaction of to retinoic acid. Look at the structure of retinol. Just give me 5 minutes. I want to sort. So you should be able to know the reactions of retinol to retinoic acid, know the structure, okay, from carotenoid to retinol, because carotenoid is provitamin A, okay? So you have to know retinol, retinal, and retinoic acid. You have to tell me the reaction. Remember, it's an oxidative reaction. So tell us the oxidizing agent that can do that for you to get a full mark. And make sure you're conversant with the structure of the retinol. The only thing that changes is the terminal carbon. Remember, retinol is a primary alcohol. So the only terminal carbon, that's why it can form retinoic acid, because it's primary alcohol. Okay? So be conversant with this. Now, carotenoids are highly lipophilic. I've been talking about that like nothing else. Now, meaning that when incorporated within the cell or membrane, it's going to be associated with lipoproteins. Therefore, interaction of the carotenoid, free radical is greater. The antioxidant capacity of this carotenoid can be scavenging. They scavenge free radicals. In their scavenging capacity is higher in hydrophobic environments. So when you, and it means they work by scavenging. Scavenging is eating them up. They eat up free radicals. They swallow them up. They engulf free radicals and flush them out of the system. Okay? So, and remember, they can only do that when they are better in hydrophobic environment. Let's go to lycopene. Lycopene can come from tomato, it can come from watermelon, it can come from pink grapefruit and orange. So these are our source of lycopene. So from today, make sure you optimize them. Remember, this lycopene, like for tomato, you can only optimize them when cooked than fresh. Okay? And when you see this grape, orange grape, I cannot take it in, I cannot put it inside oil to take, right? The works I can take is that whenever I'm taking them, after taking them, I must make sure I take something that has to do with oil. Remember, whenever you're taking fruits, it can be like your so I drink and take my watermelon after, so that I can optimize the lycopene in the watermelon I'm taking. So every day, ask yourself how many are your side besides. Now, what are the biological functions of lycopene? If you look at lycopene, you can realize that lycopene is, it contains proline. Okay, and lycopene is aliphatic. It does not have any cyclo compounds. It contains 11 conjugated double bonds, and it is a provitamin. It does not contain beta ion structure like you're going to see in other compounds. Like I said, lycopene is the only one that is different from other carotenoids. So the activity is determined by the structure. They are linear compounds. Okay? And it can be converted to vitamin A. Lycopene can be, it cannot be converted to vitamin A, unlike other carotenoid. All my other carotenoids can be converted except lycopene. Lycopene cannot be converted to vitamin A because it does not have beta-alanine. Lycopene as an antioxidant if you look at the lycopene, beta-carotene, and alpha effect on hydroperoxide formation during oxidation of methylenolate. But it has been shown that lycopene display higher antioxidant effects when you compare with alpha and beta-carotene. So meaning that lycopene have a better antioxidant potential. So meaning tomato is very healthy. But the truth is that not everybody can deal with tomatoes. So for people that have blood type B group, please, so too much tomato is not good for you. Is that you have to look for alternative source for your lycopene. So you can use grapefruit and watermelon. Watermelon is very perfect for you. So you use watermelon as your potent source of lycopene, not tomatoes. If your blood type B, enjoy. Okay, this lycopene can be converted into peroxy radicals capable of acting as pro-oxidants and at the end undergoing auto-oxidation themselves. Auto-oxidation is by presence of oxygen. It can oxidation of methyl or methylene group or addition of carbon-carbon double bond. Oxidative degradation can occur at the end of C4 carbon skeleton. This details is not needed for example, for you to know that lycopene can undergo oxidative degradation. Like I said, whenever your tomato is being exposed to oxygen, remember oxygen is air. When the skin is broken, you start seeing that some of them are bringing out water. They undergo auto-oxidation. And at the end, their health benefits has been pampered. So don't go and look for cheap tomato to buy. And you tell yourself, I'm going to boil it. No, it's not the same. Like the one that are free from oxidative degradation. There's a slide I want to talk about. I don't know whether I jumped that slide. So let me go back to that slide. Yes, this is the slide I want to talk about. The carotenoid family. I didn't talk about the structures. Now, if you look at the structures of this carotenoid family, there's something you have to notice. From beta carotene is that terminal cyclo compound. That terminal cyclo compound at the position of the double bond. The position of double bond is what is single and beta carotene. If so look at if you can understand alpha carotene, you can also understand lutein. The difference is just the hydroxy group attached in the cyclo compounds. Okay, Now, if you can understand beta-carotene, you can understand xanthine, zeaxanthin. The difference is the hydroxy group. So, alpha-carotene and beta-carotene is similar to lutein and zeaxanthin. Then, look at beta-cryptoxanthin. You can see the difference similar to zeaxanthin. Difference is that this only have one hydroxy against 2 of zeaxanthin. Lycopene is one that is different from all. So I'm going to send the question on this on the Google Classroom because I want to prepare to join the next class. Then you're meant to submit your question, your classwork before 11:59 today. So by 11:59 p.m. is your deadline. I will send it soon. If there's any question, ask a question on the platform. Okay. And the next class I'm going to have with you should be physical class, except there's any prompt from Professor Shiku concerning this. Thank you very much and see you in the next class on Wednesday. Probably Professor Shiku will be there with you. I don't know. I want you to tell me whether you guys are available for physical classes. It's very important. Somebody should tell me on the general platform so that she will also know about this information.